Good day everyone, this is the reporting for Lesson 9. The topic outlined are physical self and sexual self. The intended learning outcomes are students will be able to understand what is physical self and sexual self, and students will be able to identify the 46 terms that describe sexual attraction, behavior, and orientation.
Hello everyone, I am Kent Gaspar Arancon and I am here to explain to you about the physical self. When meeting a person for the first time, what do you think or what is your judgment about them? Di ba ilang physical features? Ilahang mata, ilahang height, ilang color sa panit. That's why people are often perceived initially by their physical features. So moving on to the topic, the physical self, the biological blueprint. So in this lesson, we're lang nagbalik o biology class. When looking in front of a mirror, what do you see? Iba imong face, imong color sa hair, imong color sa panit. Those are what you call your physical features. But your physical features aren't limited to only what you see. There's also inside of you which contains your organs, your organ system that functions in order for you to survive. That's why there's a saying, what is essential is invisible to the eye. Heredity, defined as the transformation of traits from parents to offspring, and gene the basic unit of heredity. So your physical features were inherited from your parents. For example, there's a child. The child contains blonde hair. Their father has black hair while their mother has blonde hair. It's quite obvious that the child inherited the mother's genes. Though that doesn't mean that the child didn't also inherit the father's genes. This phenomenon can be explained through genotype and phenotype. Genotype refers to the specific information embedded within our genes, while phenotype is the physical expression of a particular trait. So when a child gets a genotype examination, it can be seen that the child also inherited the father's genes. Genotype can only be determined through blood testing, but one's phenotype can be directly observed. So why did the child show the mother's genes instead of the father's genes? Well, this is because of the topic recessive and dominant genes, where the mother's genes are the dominant one, where the father's genes are the recessive ones. The mother's genes, the dominant one, dominated the father's genes. That's why the physical trait from the gene from the mothers are the one that showed from the child. Each individual carries 23 pairs of chromosomes. These chromosomes have thread-like bodies that is found in the nucleus of the cell and is also the storage unit of genes. The 23rd pair of chromosomes, or the so-called the sex chromosomes, are the ones that determines the sex of an individual, if it is a boy or a girl. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is present in each chromosome and is a nucleus acid that contains the genetic instructions specifying the unique blueprint of an individual's physical features. So basically, your genes are in your DNA, and the DNA makes up your chromosomes. Maturation is the completion of genetic character within an organism or the unfolding of an individual's inherent traits or potential. So basically, nag-mature na ang isa ka individual and nagpakita na or nag-show ang physical features na inherit niya sa iyang parents. So moving on to the topic, the physical self, environmental conditioning. As we grow, we are exposed to environmental influences that shape our physical self, including those from our social networks, societal expectations, and cultural practices. So basically, maapektuhan imong physical self from the environment, just like social networks. For example, signal kag cellphone, na kay exercise. So, napabayaan na imong body. Next is societal expectations. For example, sa South Korea, di ba grabe man kailang beauty standards dito. Gwapa lang ka if payat kay ka, if puti kay ka, then makinis. Next is cultural practices. Example is some other cultures or tribes na mandatory for the boys or men sa ilahan na magpatattoo. Next is our family. Being our first social group forms a crucial foundation for our development, including that of our physical self. Our family, where we inherit our genes, are of course such a big factor for our physical self. But another example is where you're in a toxic family, where they always criticize your weight, saying you're too fat or your weight is so high. It affects you, so you put on a diet, you eat less. That's another way for your family to affect your physical self. Moving on to the next topic, the physical self, achieving physical well-being. There is nothing wrong with enhancing our physical self. It is only problematic if we only focus too much on the physical beauty and disregard everything else. Here are the tips in achieving physical well-being. Healthy eating. Consistently having a balanced diet helps your body to function properly. Embracing a healthy lifestyle. Avoid drinking, smoking, and other toxic habits that destroy your body. Instead, engage in physical activities or exercises like running, walking, cycling, and many more. Having the right hygiene. Maintaining a hygiene regimen improves and maintains our body's health. It can also make us feel good about ourselves. And lastly, confidence in ourselves is our best makeup. One should embrace their flaws and mistakes, accept and love oneself in order to achieve physical well-being.
When referring to a person's attraction to other people, the term sexuality is typically employed. It's possible that each person has a one-of-a-kind experience. This predisposition is influenced both by what we refer to as nature, or our biological makeup and genetics, and what we refer to as nurture, or our upbringing and the society in which we are immersed. Therefore, our sexuality is a product of both the natural qualities we are born with and the experiences and values that we acquire throughout our lives. Because of these two characteristics, every single person has their own unique sexual experience. We have four sexual concepts: gender identity, sexual orientation, gender expression, and biological sex. Gender identity in the mind. So, knowing your gender comes from how you feel about yourself on the inside. It's the feeling of being a man, a woman, both, neither, or a completely different person. It's how a person thinks about and feels about their gender, which might or might not match their actual sex. Sexual orientation. To whom you are sexually attracted. A person's sexual orientation is based on who they are romantically, emotionally, and sexually drawn to. People of the same gender, people of the opposite gender, both genders, or neither gender could be the target. What matters most is who you have a deep relationship with and who makes you feel passionate. Next is gender expression, how you move and what you wear. How a person acts, what they wear, and how they carry themselves are all ways that they show the world what gender they are. It's how you show other people what gender you are by how you look and what you do, and it doesn't always have to match up with gender norms. It is how you tell other people how you identify as a gender. Last, biological sex. Depends on hormones and genitalia. A person's biological gender is determined by both their genes and their physical traits. It is usually labeled as either male or female. As for the sexual orientation, an individual's sexual orientation is defined by the manner in which they experience feelings of attraction toward other people. A person's sexual orientation is not fixed, rather, it is subject to change throughout time. A lot of people, as they get to know themselves better, go through a phase of self-discovery in which they question the traits about themselves that they find to be the most attractive. To put it another way, it's more of a fluid spectrum, and as people become older, they have more possibilities to study and comprehend their own feelings. Various experiences. It's likely that a person's gender can't always be determined just based on what they dress or how they behave. This is because people have different life experiences. It is crucial to keep in mind that people are capable of expressing themselves in a wide range of ways, and that their gender is not necessarily decided by how they appear. Everybody desires to be happy. One thing tops the list of priorities for everyone, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, and that is to be happy. Happiness in relationship, happiness in physical, sexual relationship, free from diseases, acceptance and respect from the society, and productive lives can be a form of happiness. The physical, the emotional, the psychological, and the spiritual are the four interwoven components that make up sexuality. These spheres are all connected to one another and exert an influence on one another. Each component has a unique role in shaping a person's overall experience of their own sexuality.
To prevent, to avoid, and to fight against discrimination. Not all people are open minded. While some chose to close their mind in this topic, reason why discrimination still occurs. Discrimination can be in any form. They can be physical abuse, demeaning behavior, or even making fun of someone's gender in the form of jokes. Another is insults and even rape. So there should be zero tolerance against discrimination and sex abuse. Sexual self, the biology of sex. Sex is a biological feature that distinguishes male and females at birth. One of most observable characteristic to be considered a male or a female is the presence of genitals. That is, penis para sa mga lalaki and vagina para sa mga babae. In puberty, further characteristics can be observed known as secondary sexual characteristics. This can be outgrowth of facial hair, the emerging of Adam's apple, and muscle development in men, while menstruation and noticeable changes in breasts and hips are present in women. In this period, makaka-feel na rin ng sexual urges in response to sexual stimuli ang mga ito. Sexual self, sexual identity, and sexual orientation. So, first, let us know that biological sex and gender orientation are two different things. First is biological sex is one's assignment upon birth and is dependent of physical features that the person has. So, as I said kanina, biological sex is determined through the genitals that one have at birth. Gender is one's assignment upon birth and is dependent of physical features the person has. It is influenced by social beliefs and norms because it is a socially constructed concept. It goes beyond biological differences and is shaped by cultural, historical, and social factors. Society has created expectations, roles, and behaviors associated with being male or female, and these expectations are often referred to as gender norms. Societal beliefs and norms can reinforce traditional gender roles, such as the idea that men should be strong and unemotional, while women should be nurturing and empathic. These norms can also perpetuate stereotypes and biases, which can lead to discrimination and inequality based on gender. Sexual self, the consequences of sexual choice. Sexual intercourse, also known as copulation, is a reproductive act between a male and female. However, it is also possible for the same sex to perform but not possible to reproduce. Sexual intercourse can lead to some serious consequences. Example is pregnancy or teenage pregnancy. Physical risks to having an early pregnancy may impact the adolescent's development. Kasama dito ang risk of miscarriage, emotional stress, and health risk for both mother and infant. This may also result to dropping out of school, alienation, and other similar disruptions for both the parents. Another is sexually transmitted diseases. Nangyayari ito when individuals engage in unprotected sex with multiple partners or to someone who have the disease. Most of these diseases can be treated or cured, while some have none and may result to long-term effects to someone's health. The common diseases na makukuha are gonorrhea, chlamydia, and genital warts, while the most alarming ones are HIV and AIDS that have no cure at all. These consequences signifies how important it is for an adolescent or anyone to make responsible decisions with regard to their sexuality and sexual behavior.
The obsession to have a beautiful face and body sometimes leads to wanting to undergo for cosmetic surgery, applying skin cares, skin whiteners, and etc. just to fit in the society. And sometimes this affects our health, like developing various eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa and bulimia. Also, the malnutrition among young women due to the improper way of dieting. This because we want to achieve the golden ratio or the perfect face, which is rather impossible to achieve, but people still vie for it. And there's this quote which says beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. True, but in this generation where beauty standard is a must followed, it is a big challenge to indicate inside than outside. The plump, skinny, just right, sexy or chubby as long as the fashion industry dictates what is beautiful, be it for men or women, youth can never be satisfied with their bodies. And every culture would have standards for beauty, like in medieval age, and some tribes, chubby and plump is what they consider as beautiful. For Hollywood and local showbiz actors and actresses, they prefer skinny, sexy, and fit. And just like now, we prefer the white skin, glass skin because of the popularity of the South Korean culture. And we'll proceed to the body art and status symbol. Then and now, practicing tattooing, scarification, piercing, and body painting. Some don't like having a tattoo because they see it as unpleasant, but some it's their way of expressing themselves. They find themselves beautiful when they have the tattoo. Same with the piercing and the body painting.
So now, let's talk about the 46 terms of sexual attraction, behavior, and orientation. First, let's talk about the term allosexual. Allosexual is a sexual orientation that describes people who are experience attraction. Now, whether you are bisexual, lesbian, or gay, as long as you experience sexual attraction, then you are termed allosexual. In allosexual, we have this term called allocecism, where it presumes that everyone and anyone should be attracted to one person or another. It totally discards asexual, as it believes we humans should be attracted to one or more person. Next, we have the androsexual. So, androsexual is a sexual orientation that describes people who are attracted to men. It is generally understood to be a subset of bisexuality, as it refers to people who are attracted to men and women but with a stronger preference for men. A person who is androsexual may be attracted to men of all ages, races, and body types. They may find masculine traits such as facial hair, muscles, and deep voices to be attractive. They may also be attracted to men who are confident, self-assured, and assertive. Next, we have the asexual. So, asexual is a sexual orientation that describes people who do not experience sexual attraction. A person who is asexual may not find any person sexually attractive regardless of their gender or appearance. They may not have any desires to have sex even if they are in a romantic relationship. They may also not understand or relate to the concept of sexual attraction. Next, we have the aromantic. Aromantics is a sexual orientation that describes people who do not experience romantic attraction. Romantic attraction is a desire to have an emotional and physical relationship with another person. Aromantic people may or may not experience sexual attraction. A person who is aromantic may not have any desire to be in a romantic relationship. They may not understand or relate to the concept of romantic attraction. They may also be not interested in things that are typically associated with romance, such as kissing, holding hands, or cuddling. So, what is the difference between asexual and aromantic? Asexual is when a person do not feel sexual attraction towards another person, whether it's is her partner or his partner, while aromantic is a person who do not feel romantic attraction towards another person. Next, we have this term autosexual. So, autosexual is a sexual orientation that describes people who are sexually attracted to themselves. Autosexual people may find their own physical appearance, personally, or accomplishments to be sexually arousing. They may also enjoy masturbating to fantasize about themselves. Autosexuality is relatively new term and there is still some debate about its exact definition. However, it is generally understood to be a subset of asexuality as it refers to people who are not sexually attracted to others but you are attracted to yourself or this person attracted to themselves. Now, an asexual person may be attracted to their own physical appearance such as their body, face, or hair. They may also be attracted to their own personality such as their intelligence, sense of humor, or confidence. They may also be attracted to their own accomplishments such as their work, hobbies, or academic achievements. Next, we have the autoromantic. Autoromantic is a term for the experience of romantic attraction to oneself. It is relatively new term but it has been gaining popularity in recent years as more people become aware of it. Autoromantic people may experience romantic attraction to themselves in a variety of ways. Some people may feel like they are in a loving relationship with themselves. Others may experience romantic feelings toward their own physical appearance, personality, or accomplishments. And still, others may simply enjoy spending time alone and indulging in self activities. These autoromantic people is like or this autoromanticism is valid and natural for form of romantic attraction. Autoromantic people deserves to be respected and supported. Next, we have this term bi-curious. Bi-curious is used to describe someone who is curious or open to exploring attraction to people of a gender other than their own. It is a spectrum and people may identify as bi-curious for a variety of reasons. Some people may be questioning their sexuality while others may be comfortable with their current sexual identity but still be curious about exploring others' possibility. Bi-curious people may or may not have experience with same-sex attraction. Some people may have had crushes on people of the same gender while others may have never experienced same-sex attraction before. Bi-curious people deserves to be respected and supported. If you are bi-curious, there are a number of resources available to help you explore your sexuality and develop a positive sense of self. You can talk to a therapist or a counselor, join a support group, or read books and articles about bisexuality and sexual identities. Next, we have the bisexuality. Bisexuality is a sexual orientation characterized by romantic attraction or sexual attraction or both to people of more than one sex, gender, or gender identity. Bisexual people may also identify as queer. Bisexual is a broad term that encompasses a wide range of experiences. Some bisexual people are equally attracted to men and women, while others have a stronger preference for one gender over the other. Bisexual people may also be attracted to people who are transgender, non-binary, or genderqueer. Like all sexual orientation, bisexuality is often misunderstood and stereotyped. Some people believe that bisexual people are confused, promiscuous, or greedy. However, these stereotypes are simply not true. Bisexual people are just as diverse as any other groups of people, and they deserve to be respected and accepted for who they are. We have another term for called biromantic. So, biromantic is a sexual orientation that describes people who are romantically attracted to two or more genders. These may include men, women, non binary people, and people of other gender identities. Biromantic people may or may not experience sexual attraction to the same people for they are romantically attracted to. For example, a biromantic person may be romantically attracted to both men and women but sexually attracted to only men. Next, we have the closeted. Closeted is a term used to describe someone who is not publicly open about their sexual orientation or gender identity. This may due to a variety of reasons such as fear of discrimination, rejection, or violence. Closeted people may feel pressure to conform to societal expectations, or they may simply not be ready to come out to others. Being closeted can be difficult and isolating experience. Closeted people may feel like they have to live a double life and they may constantly be worried about being discovered. This can lead to a variety of health problems such as anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Despite the challenges, many closeted people eventually come to accept themselves for who they are and share their truth with others. This can be a liberating and empowering experience. Coming out can help closeted people to feel more connected to themselves and to others, and it can be also help to reduce the stigma associated with LGBTQ plus QPA plus identities. Next, we have this coming out. Coming out is a process of disclosing one's sexual orientation, gender identity, or other personal information to others. It can be a difficult and emotional process, but it can also be a liberating and empowering one. There is no one size fits all approach to coming out. Some people may choose to come out to their family and friends at all once, while others may come out to different people over time. There is no right or wrong way to do it. Next, we have the cupiosexuality or cupiosexual. Cupiosexual is a sexual orientation on the asexual spectrum that describes people who experience a desire for a romantic relationship or sexual activity but do not experience sexual attraction. This means that they may want to have sex or be in a romantic relationship but they do not find anyone sexually attractive. Sexual people may experience other forms of attraction such as romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction, or sensual attraction. They may also experience sexual arousal, but they do not need to be sexually attracted to someone in order to be aroused. Next, we have the demisexuality. Demisexuality is a sexual orientation on a sexual spectrum that describes people who do not experience sexual attraction until they form a strong emotional connection with someone. This means that they may not find anyone sexually attractive until they have gotten to know them on a deep level and develop a strong emotional bond. Demisexual people may experience other forms of attraction such as romantic attraction, aesthetic or sexual attraction before they experience this sexual attraction. They may also experience sexual arousal, but they do not need to be sexually attracted to someone in order to be aroused. Demisexual people may identify as bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, gay, or queer depending on the gender of the people they are attracted to. Demisexuality is not the same as celibacy, which is a choice to abstain from sexual activity. Demisexual people may or may not choose to have sex, but they do not experience sexual attraction in the same way that non-demisexual people do. Now, we have this demiromantic. Demiromantic is a romantic orientation on the aromantic spectrum that describes people who do not experience romantic attraction until they form a strong emotional connection with someone. This means that they may not find anyone romantically attractive until they have gotten to know them on a deep level and develop a strong emotional bond. Demiromantic people may experience other forms of attraction. They may also develop feelings of romantic attraction to someone over time, even if they are or they were not initially attracted to them. The demi-romantic people often describes experiencing romantic attraction in a slower and more gradual way than people who experience romantic attraction immediately. They may also describe feeling like they have to earn romantic attraction or that it is a gift that they give to someone after they have developed a deep emotional connection with them. Now we have this fluid. Gender fluidity is the term used to describe someone whose gender identity changes over time. This can be a gradual or sudden change, and it can be influenced by a variety of factors such as internal feelings, external influences, or life experiences. For example, someone who identifies as gender fluid may feel more masculine on some days and more feminine on the others, or they may identify as neither masculine nor feminine at all. Gender fluid may also experience a combination of different gender identities simultaneously. There is no one right way to be gender fluid. Some people may choose to express their gender identity through their appearance, clothing, or pronouns. Others may choose to keep their gender identity private. Next, we have gay. Gay is a sexual orientation that describes people who are sexually attracted to members of the same sex. Gay people may identify as men, women, non-binary, or other identities. The word gay is most commonly used to describe men who are attracted to other men. Gay people experiences a wide range of sexual attraction. Some gay people may be attracted to wide range of people within their gender, while others may have a stronger preference for certain types of people. Gay people may also experience other forms of attraction, such as romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction, or sensual attraction. Gay people have faced discrimination and prejudice throughout history. However, in recent years, there has been a growing movement for LGBTQPA+ rights and equality. Gay people are now more visible and accepted in society than ever before. Next, we have the gray sexuality. So, gray sexuality is a sexual orientation on the asexual spectrum that describes people who experience sexual attraction rarely, not at all, or under specific circumstances. Gray sexual people may experience sexual attraction to a certain degree, but they may not experience it in the same way or to the same intensity as non-gray sexual people. Gray sexual people may identify as bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, gay, or queer depending on the genders of the people they are attracted to. Gray sexuality is not the same as celibacy, which is the choice to abstain sexual activity. Gray sexual people may or may not choose to have sex, but they do not experience sexual attraction in the same way the non-gray sexual people do. Next, we have the gray romanticism or gray romantic. Gray romantic is a romantic orientation on the aromantic spectrum that describes people who experience romantic attraction rarely, not at all, or under specific circumstances. Gray romantic people may experience romantic attraction to a certain degree, but they may not experience it in the same way or to the same intensity as non-gray romantic people. Next, we have the gynesexual. Gynesexual is a sexual orientation on the asexual spectrum that describes people who are sexually attracted to women. Gynesexual people may identify as women, non-binary, or other gender identities. Gynesexual people may experience sexual attraction to women in a variety of ways. Some gynesexual people may be attracted to a wide range of women, while others may have a stronger preference for certain types of women. For example, some gynesexual people may be attracted to women who are feminine, while others may be attracted to women who are masculine or androgynous. Gynesexual people may also experience other forms of attraction such as romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction, or sensual attraction. Gynesexuality is a relatively new term and there is still some debate about its exact definition. However, it is generally understood to be a subset of asexuality, as it refers to people who are not sexually attracted to men but are attracted to women. Now we have this term heterosexuality or heterosexual. Heterosexual is a sexual orientation characterized by romantic or sexual attraction to people of the opposite sex. Heterosexual people may identify as men, women, or non-binary. Heterosexual is most common sexual orientation in the world. It is estimated that over 90% of people identify as heterosexual. Heterosexual people have a wide range of experiences, and there is no one right way to be a heterosexual. Being a heterosexual is not without its challenges. Heterosexual people may face discrimination from people who are not heterosexual, and they may also face pressure to conform to traditional gender roles. Next, we have this homosexuality. Homosexual is a sexual orientation that describes people who are romantically attracted to people of the same sex. Homosexual people may identify as men, women, or non-binary. Homosexuality is a natural and healthy part of human diversity. Homosexual people have the same capacity for love and commitment as people of any other sexual orientation. Homosexual people experience a wide range of sexual attraction. Some homosexual people may be attracted to a wide range of people within their gender, while others may have a stronger preference for certain types of people. Homosexual people may also experience other forms of attraction, such as romantic, aesthetic, or sensual attraction. Next, we have this term lesbian. Lesbian is used to describe a woman who is emotionally, romantically, or sexually attracted to other women. Lesbian women may identify as any gender including a woman or non-binary. Lesbian women may experience their sexuality in a variety of ways. Some lesbian women may be attracted to a wide range of women, while others may have a stronger preference for a certain types of women, such as women who are feminine, masculine, or androgynous. Lesbian women may be also experience other forms of attraction such as romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction, and sensual attraction. Lesbian women are a diverse group of people, and there is no one right way to be a lesbian woman. What matters most is that lesbian women feel comfortable and happy with their own identity. Next, we have the LGBTQA plus QIA plus is an initialism that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual. It is an umbrella term for people who identify as any of these sexual orientation and gender identities. The LGBTQIA plus community is a diverse group of people with a wide range of experiences. People have made significant contribution to society in all areas, including the arts, sciences, and politics. Next, we have the libidoist asexual. Libidoist asexual is a term used to describe asexual people who have a libido or a sex drive but do not experience sexual attraction. This means that they may enjoy sexual activity but they do not feel the need or desire to have sex in order to feel fulfilled. Libidoist asexual people may identify as any gender identity, and they may be attracted to people of any gender in a non-sexual way. They may also experience other forms of attraction such as romantic attraction and aesthetic attraction. Next, we have the monosexuality. Monosexuality is a sexual orientation in which an individual is sexually attracted to only one sex or gender. It is the opposite of bisexuality and pansexuality, which are sexual orientation in which an individual is sexually attracted to two or more sexes or genders. Next, we have the non-libidoist asexuality or asexual. It is a term used to describe people who do not experience sexual attraction and who also do not have a libido. This means that they do not feel the need or desire to have sex, either to feel fulfilled or to experience pleasure. Non-libidoist asexual people may identify as any gender identity. They may also experience other forms of attraction, such as aesthetic, romantic, or sensual attraction. Next, we have the omnisexuality. Omnisexuality or omnisexual is a sexual orientation on the asexual spectrum that characterized by attraction to people of all genders and gender identities. Omnisexual people may experience their sexuality in a variety of ways, and there is no one right way to be omnisexual. However, some common experiences of the omnisexual includes feeling attracted to people of all genders and gender identities regardless of their own gender or gender identity. Experiencing sexual attraction to people that is not limited by gender norms or stereotypes. Feeling like their sexual attraction is fluid or changing over time, and identifying with other sexual orientation on the sexual spectrum such as bisexual or pansexuality. Omnisexuality is a valid and natural sexual orientation. Omnisexuality people deserves respect and support. Here, next we have the pansexuality. So pansexuality is pansexual is a sexual orientation on the asexual spectrum that describes people who are attracted to people regardless of their gender identity. Pansexuality people may be attracted to men, women, non-binary people, gender fluid people, and agender people. Pansexuality is similar to bisexuality, but bisexuality is typically defined as attraction to two genders, while pansexuality is defined as attraction to all genders. Pansexual people may experience their sexuality in a variety of ways. Some pansexual people may be attracted to a wide range of people within all gender identities, while others may have a stronger preference for certain types of people. Pansexuality people may also experience other forms of attraction. Next, we have the panromantic. Panromantic is a orientation on the romantic spectrum that describe people who are romantically attracted to people of all genders. Panromantic people may be romantically attracted to men, women, non-binary people, gender fluid people, and gender people. Panromanticism is similar to biromanticism, but biromanticism is typically defined as romantic attraction to two genders, while panromanticism is defined as romantic attraction to all genders. Next, we have the polysexual. Polysexual is a term that describes individuals with a sexual orientation that involves sexual or romantic attraction to people with varying genders. Polysexual orientation includes bisexuality, pansexuality, omnisexuality, and queer, among many others. Next, we have the pomosexual, a term not necessarily an identity used to refer to those who reject sexuality labels or don't identify with any of them. So these people of homosexual is just don't give a fuck about this sexual identity in this spectrum. Passing is a term used to describe when a person is perceived as being a certain gender or gender expression, even if that is not their actual gender or gender expression. Passing can be both positive and negative. On the other hand, it can be relief for people who do not want to be discriminated against or harassed because of their gender or gender expression. On the other hand, passing can also be invalidating and feel like a lie. There are many reasons why people might pass. Some people pass because they feel safer or more comfortable doing so. Others may pass because they feel like they will not be accepted or respected if they are open about their true gender or gender expression. Still, others may pass because they are not yet ready to come out as transgender or not binary or non-binary. Next, we have the term queer. Queer is an umbrella term for people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, asexual, or any other non-heterosexual and non-cisgender identity. It is a broad term that can be used to describe a wide range of people and experiences. Queer people have a long history of being marginalized and discriminated against. However, queer people come from all walks of life. They have different races, ethnicities, religions, and socioeconomic backgrounds. They all are united by their shared experiences by being marginalized and discriminated against because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Next, we have the questioning. Questioning is a term used to describe people who are exploring their gender identity and do not yet have the label that feels right for them. This can be confusing and challenging time, but it is also a time of great opportunity to self-discovery. There are many reasons why someone might be questioning their gender identity. Some people may have always felt like they didn't fit in with their assigned gender at birth. Others may have had a recent experience that has caused them to question their gender identity, such as coming out as lesbian, gay, or bisexual. Still, others may be questioning their gender identity because they are simply curious about the different ways that people can express themselves. Next, we have the romantic attraction. Romantic attraction is an emotional and physical attraction to another person, characterized by a desire to form a close, intimate bond. It is often accompanied by feelings of love, affection, and desire. Romantic attraction can be experienced by people of all sexual orientation and gender identities. Romantic attraction is distinct from sexual attraction in that it does not necessarily involve a desire to have sex with the other person. While sexual attraction and romantic attraction often go hand in hand, it is possible to experience one without the other. Next, we have the romantic orientation. Romantic orientation is an aspect of self and identity that involves how you identify the way you experience romantic desire. If you do, the genders or sexes of the people who someone engages in a romantic relationship with the genders or sexes of the people someone is romantically attracted to. Next, sapiosexual. Sapiosexual is a word used to describe those people who experience attraction based on intelligence rather than sex or gender. It basically tells about us that those people who are only attracted to the intelligence of other people, not because they are sexually attracted to that people, but they are attracted to their intelligence. Next, we have the sexual attraction. Sexual attraction refers to the experiencing sexual desire or arousal in a relation to another person or a group of people. So you can feel sexual attraction without the romantic attraction. Sexual attraction is just that you are sexually attracted to that person. Next, sex aversion is a strong and persistent aversion to sexual activity. It can manifest in a variety of ways, including anxiety, disgust, and even physical discomfort. Sex aversion can be caused by a number of factors, including past sexual trauma, religions, beliefs, and body images issues. People who are sex averse may still enjoy other forms of intimacy, such as kissing, cuddling, and massage. They may also have a strong sex drive but find that they are unable to engage in sexual activity because of their aversion. Sex aversion is a real and valid experience. It is important to remember that everyone is different and that there is no one right way to experience sex. Next, we have the sex favorable. Sex favorable is a term used within the asexuality spectrum to describe people who have a positive attitudes towards or are open to engaging in sexual activities despite of non-experiencing sexual attraction or having a low level of sexual desire themselves. It's a way for people to express that they are willing to participate in sexual excuse me. Excuse excuse me. It's a way for people to express that they are willing to participate in sexual activities for various reasons, such as to please a partner or for other personal motivations, even though they may not experience sexual attraction in the same way that allosexual individuals do. It's important to remember that people's attitudes and preferences regarding sex can vary wildly, and sex favorable is just one way to describe these variations. Next, we have the sex indifference. Is a Sex indifference is a term within the sexuality spectrum that describes individuals who generally have a neutral or indifferent attitudes towards sex. These individuals don't have a strong desire for sexual experiences, nor they have a particularly negative or positive attitudes towards sex. They may be open to engaging in sexual activities under a certain circumstances or may not be interested in sex at all. It's important to understand that asexuality is a diverse spectrum and people's feelings and attitudes towards sex can be vary widely, with some being sex averse, sex indifference, or sex favorable. These terms help people describe their own experiences and preferences regarding sex attraction. Next, we have sexual orientation. Sexual orientation, often referred to as sexuality, is a fundamental aspect of person's identity that relates to their emotional, romantic, and sexual attraction towards others. It's about who an individual is naturally drawn to in terms of forming emotional connection, having romantic feelings, and experiencing sexual desire. There are main categories of sexual orientation, such as heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, demisexual, and other orientations. Next, we have the sex repulsion is repulsion is a term used to describe individuals who have a strong aversion or negative reaction to the idea of engaging in sexual activities. These individuals may feel repulsed, disgusted, or extremely uncomfortable when it comes to sexual acts, and they may actively avoid or resist any form of sexual contacts or discussion. Sex repulsion is often associated with asexuality, but it can also be experienced by people with various sexual orientations and backgrounds. It's important to respect and understand an individual's feelings regarding sex and not presume or pressure them into a situation that causes them distress. Next, we have the scoliosexual. Scoliosexual is a sexual orientation that describes individuals who are primarily attracted to people who identify as non-binary, gender queer, gender fluid, or have a gender identity that falls outside the tradition. In other words, scoliosexual individuals are attracted to those whose gender expression or identity is more fluid, encompassing a range of gender identities beyond the binary. It's important to recognize that people's experiences of attraction and sexual orientation can be diverse, and terms like scoliosexual help individuals describe their specific attraction and preferences. Excuse me. Next, we have the spectrosexual. Spectrosexual is not widely recognized or commonly used term within the context of sexual orientation. It's possible that the term is a relatively new or niche concept that may not have gained widespread recognition or acceptance. However, without more context of well-established definition, it's challenging to provide specific explanation for spectrosexual. It is important to note that new terms related to sexual orientation and identities may emerge over time as our understanding of human sexuality and gender diversity evolves. So, spectrosexual is a term that describes people who are sexually or romantically attracted to people or varied sexes, genders, and gender identities, but not necessarily all or any. Next is the straight, also known as the heterosexual. Straight describes people who experience sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction to individuals of the opposite gender, like male, female, man or woman, or a different gender. People who identify as cisgender and transgender can be straight. It's okay to feel unsure or overwhelmed by all the labels we now have to describe sexual romantic orientation, attraction, and behavior. Expanding the language you use to describe your sexuality can provide important guidance, validation, and access to community while on your journey of sexual self-discovery and satisfaction. That's all. Thank you.